Robin Hayes is going to be somewhat our moderator as such, or have our guests come forward. So Robin, let me turn it over to you.
Hey, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming here today, and I really want to thank everybody. I think more people are getting involved the last few years, and it's so important to exercise our free God-given rights. And I want to thank each candidate that is running for any office. That's so exciting. We do need to do more of that also, not just voting. And anyway, I'm thinking with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started since we have a short amount of time. Most everybody probably knows, but each candidate is going to come up, and y'all are welcome to all come up here, and or you can stay in your seat, whatever you feel more comfortable with. We don't have a large crowd, so you will introduce yourselves, or telling y'all, they know. Anyway, they'll introduce themselves and tell y'all why you need to be voting for them. Hopefully, like I think Larry said, you can get to know them better if you don't know some of them. I know I don't know everybody, so I'm excited to hear. And anyway, does anybody have any questions for me about anything? Yes?
Is there a time limit, Robin, on how much time we have to speak?
You can have an hour.
I
No.
have a probate case at 1:30, so we've got
5 or 7 minutes.
Great.
Is that good?
Sure, whatever.
Okay. And you're first, Rex.
Oh, okay.
Rex Fields, if you want to come on up.
Sure.
Come on down.
Well, I'll echo Robin's sentiment. Thank you very much for being here today. I counted somewhere in the 40 range. Very glad you guys are here. This really is democracy in action. I think that was pointed out by Sean Schaefer at the JP meet and greet forum a couple weeks ago. Gosh, if it wasn't for us being able to live in a free society, we wouldn't have this. I'd also like to thank the Republican County Party. If you ring on the Republican primary, you need to be fully involved and invested with the Republican Party here in Eastland County. I've never run anything but a Republican. I'm in my 12th year as a county judge, but I'm glad you're here. I don't know, maybe the free food, maybe we should have broadcast that we're going to have more free food or something to get you here today. I know that's probably why Billy Wright is here, because there's free food, right, Bill? Well, I guess to differentiate ourselves, I'll just start and tell you kind of my history quickly. You don't want the full, version of that, but my parents lived here in Cisco. I was born in the Eastland Hospital, got over here as quick as I could. And then when I was about 4, my parents moved to Breckenridge. I noticed they took the refrigerator with them. I thought I'd probably better follow the refrigerator and go over to Breckenridge. We lived there for about a year. Can everybody hear me back there all right?
No. Yes.
No? Okay. I'll try to talk louder. Thank you, Ann. I lived there for about a year, came back over here to Eastland County, to Cisco, and started school here. I've lived here my entire life since then. I mean, basically, you're 4 years old, you go where your parents go. So, came back here, graduated from Cisco High School. I won't tell you when, but I did graduate from Cisco High School. Have an Associate of Arts degree from Cisco Junior College, as we called it back then. Have a bachelor's degree in finance from Tarleton State, and have a master's degree in MBA in business administration from Hardin-Simmons. I was appointed and then elected as a Justice of the Peace. Served in that position for 3 years and 4 months, and then in 2006 I was elected to be your county judge, and have served in that capacity for the citizens since that day. So I'm entering my 12th year, as I said. The county judge of Eastland County has got a wide range of duties. You are the presiding officer of a commissioner's court. You are the presiding officer of a probate court. I mentioned earlier I've got a probate hearing at 1:30. Commissioner's court is basically the administration of the county, and the county judge is the presiding officer. It's kind of set, I guess the best analogy would be like school board or city council. It's somewhat like that. It's not exactly, because it's set up differently. The state constitution of 1876 sets that up differently. But we do the administration for the county. We formulate the budget, the commissioners and I do, along with the assistance of our auditor, who happens to be here today. And we get input from every elected official or appointed official in the county to help us formulate that budget. We try to put the budget together to where each elected official can do their prescribed duty. The state tells us exactly what the duties are for county treasurer, for county auditor, for county judge, for county commissioner. So we put that budget together to where it serves it's the interest. And I'll tell you, I don't like paying taxes any more than you guys do. I've owned property in Eastland County, right here in Cisco, where I first bought the property. Since February of 1980, I have continuously paid Eastland County property taxes for now 38 years. That kind of gives you an idea of when I graduated from Cisco High School, doesn't it? So I'm a property taxpayer myself. I don't like to spend a dime if I think a nickel will get the job done. But county government costs money. It costs money to make this work. I don't know exactly how far down you want to drill on that, but that's kind of what the county commissioners court does. We have 5 people in there. It just takes a simple majority for most decisions to be made, a 3-2 majority. For some votes, it takes a full unanimous vote, like for closing a road. But for most of it, it's a 3-2 vote. I have a great group of commissioners to work with. I'm losing one. I'll be picking up a new one. If I'm reelected, that'll be my 10th commissioner to work with. When I started out my 12 years, there have only been 3 county judges in 56 years in Eastland County. When I talk with county judges across the state, that's kind of unheard of. Judge Scott Bailey, Judge John Bailey is here today. Judge Scott Bailey served for 36 years. Brad Stevenson served for 8 years. And finishing this year, I will serve 12 years. So that's 56 years of just 3 people being the, I guess you'd call the chief administrator for the county. Also, the county judge for Eastland County has criminal court jurisdiction and probate court jurisdiction. In criminal court, the county judge, me currently, and I hope to continue that, I mean, that's why we're here today, I serve to adjudicate Class A and Class B misdemeanors. A B is like a DWI first, and A is like assault causing bodily injury, family violence. We've got some probation officers here today if you want to drill down and ask them exactly what that entails. And I look back at the records from 2011 through 16, which is the most current set of records that we have with the Office of Court Administration. The average number of cases in criminal court alone that goes through Eastland County Court is about 850 a year. Amazingly enough, for a county of only 18,500 people, we still have over 800 criminal cases each year. In that 11 years that I've finished, starting my 12th year again, I think I've had 3 or 4 cases that were appealed to the Court of Appeals. That's the state courts, the 11th Court of Appeals, Judge Bailey, Judge Wright was, and Judge Wilson are the judges on that court. Out of those 3 or 4 cases that were appealed, none of them were reversed or remanded. They were all affirmed. They all said basically that the trial court, the lower court, didn't do anything that wasn't proper. I think that speaks well of how we're processing this. And it's not just me. Yes, I'm the county judge, but we've also got the probation department, the district attorney's office, my staff that I've hired over the years to get all that done. So out of, if you do the math on that, 11 years, that's 9,300 cases of A's and B's and some C's that were appealed from municipal court or justice court to come into my court as well. So, out of 9,300 cases, to only have 3 or 4 that were appealed, and those were affirmed that we did the proper thing, or I did the proper thing. I mean, it all comes down to me. It's all on my shoulders at this point. Maybe in 11 months and however many weeks, be somebody different. But I try to look at things through that lens. My background, as I've said, is my education's in business. I had a real estate brokerage and insurance business here in Cisco for a long time. I have now sold my business downtown. I've sold my book of business back to the insurance company. Still have my broker's license. Those things are too hard to get just to throw that to the curb. So I still have my broker's license, although I don't hardly do anything with that. But I basically have given up my professional career as a real estate and insurance person to become your county judge. And it's really been, I put this sent this to Ms. Elrod, and she has it up on the website about it's been my professional honor to be your county judge for 12 years. Oh, well, 11 years in a month, I guess, if you want to do the math on it. At the end of this term, it'll be 12 years. You know, coming in as a justice of the peace, as a business person, I thought, well, I kind of have a handle on it. If one of these other people get elected as a county judge, I think they're going to realize that the job is a lot different looking on the inside once you get into the job. I learned things about it that I had no idea. Probate court was the part of being county judge that I knew the least about. Probate court is about wills, estates, and guardianships. That's really where I drilled down, because if you do a guardianship, for example, properly, it gives some relief to the family. It gives some relief to the ward, which is the person that's in the guardianship. If you do it right, it works well. If you don't do it right, the wheels start wobbling and it runs off the track and bad things start happening. I really have focused on that in the probate matters as far as being in guardianship, in the guardianship arena. I guess I've done a good job of that. I've been asked to speak to various associations that do judicial training. They've asked me to speak as a guardianship. I don't want to call myself an expert, but the constitutional county judge, which is what this is, it's not county court law. Larger counties have county court law. Constitutional county judge does not have to be an attorney. We do have an attorney running for this spot, but you don't have to be an attorney. I ran the numbers on this, and of the 254 constitutional county judges that we have in the state, 222 of us are non-attorney judges. What does that mean? 7? Am I up? Kill it? Can I just finish? Okay, all right. I'm getting hand signs back here and stuff. The county judge is also responsible for emergency management, floodplain management, and supervising the courthouse and annex maintenance. I've had all the prescriptive training I'm supposed to have. In fact, I've had more training each year to make sure that I do those jobs properly. And before I get another hand sign back here at the back, I'll sit down and be quiet. I'll be here a little while after we get through, but I do have a probate hearing I've got to go to at 1:30 about an estate. But I appreciate you being here today. I don't know if you've got some questions for me. Give me a call, shoot me an email. Not at the county address. My email address is rexf@txol.net. If you've got a question, shoot me an email. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. James King, I think you're the next one. Oh, there you are. Been way back there. Come on up.
Well, I want to echo Judge Field's sentiment. I want to appreciate all of y'all for coming today. We have a pretty decent turnout in here. I was hoping to have it in the big room and have hundreds of people here, but you know, you get what you take what you get. We have an active election season this cycle, and I've always appreciated having an active electorate, an active population in our county, and it's really active this year. So I know all of the candidates appreciate the opportunity to address y'all and have the opportunity to express why they want this job, why they feel they're the best candidate for the job. And so y'all coming here is an honor for us because y'all want to listen to what we have to say. So we appreciate y'all for that. Many of you know me, but for those that don't, my name is James King. My wife is sitting over here in the audience. I've got 2 grown kids. Both of them got married last year, and so we have a newly empty house, and we're kind of enjoying that right now. Both the kids are still in college. I went through the Cisco public school system and were really great products of that system. My son is training to be an engineer right now, and my daughter is in biomedical engineering. She's about to graduate. Both of them are about to graduate from Tarleton this next year. And so Cisco is an outstanding, I guess, home for raising up children. It's one of the reasons we came back here. And we'll get into that in a minute. I was born and raised in Eastland County, graduated from Ranger High School, class of '87. I know some of you may think I'm a little bit young, but I'm actually 48 years old, and I'm not that young. But with the exception of the 10 years I spent in the military, I've spent all my life in Eastland County. I was in the military for, as I said, 10 years as a security policeman. Most of that time, well, a big chunk of that time anyway, I spent in drug interdiction work, either on the border, searching for drugs coming across the border, or working for the West Central Texas Interlocal Crime Task Force in Abilene, doing drug interdiction work there. And that gave me some unique opportunities for training. I left the military and went to the police academy in Abilene. I graduated top of my class in '98. Worked 6 years for the Cisco Police Department, about a year before that for the Sheriff's Department in the jail, and had an outstanding time as a police officer. However, as you age and knees get bad, and I've had 4 knee surgeries, you can't chase people down anymore. So I ran for and was elected as Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, serving this area of the county, the western third of the county from Cisco to Rising Star. And we even took in a little bit of corner of Eastland for a while. And since really my first days as Justice of the Peace, I knew that was my calling. A judge was where I was supposed to be. I was a judge for a total of 7 years. I was also serving the city of Cisco and city of Ranger for a while as municipal court judge. And I left that because at some point I knew I wanted to be county judge. This was my long-term goal as county judge. But I knew that I needed more experience. I needed executive experience that I did not have as Justice of the Peace. And so I left Cisco. I actually went to work full-time for my church. I'm very active in my church. I'm now the pastor of my church. But I left to go to work for my church and also ran for mayor of Cisco. I was mayor of Cisco for 4.5 years. And during that time, we went through a lot of great things that happened for Cisco, and we went through some challenges. Everybody remembers the flood that happened and the water plant getting washed away and all the emergency response things that we had to do there. But the experience that has given me has just been an outstanding blessing for me personally, working with the citizens of Cisco, and just getting an opportunity to have a hands-on experience in running a municipality. We did some great things, and I'm very proud of my service there. I resigned in December to run for county judge. That was a requirement. The Texas Constitution says if you have more than a year and 30 days left in your current position, you have to resign to run for a different position. And let me just say that I didn't want to run against Judge Fields. I like Judge Fields. I like him a lot. Rex and I have been friends for a long time. Back whenever he was a Justice of the Peace, he first got elected to that job, and I was a police officer in Cisco. We worked together. I worked together with him whenever I was JP, and he was county judge. And we've worked well together over the years. So nowhere in my campaign am I going to run a bash Rex Fields campaign. I like him a lot. However, I've had people trying to get me to run for this job for about 8 years now. And I really just felt I couldn't ignore that call anymore. I think that my experience both in the military police, as a previous judge, as mayor, has really set the stage for me very well in the office of, toward the office of county judge. I believe I can bring fresh eyes to county administration, fresh perspective of things. I believe that I have the experience necessary and the fiscal discipline necessary to get our budget back on track. I believe that I have the qualifications to be a good judge. I've already been a judge. For 7 years I was a judge, and I was always told I was a good one. I believe I was a good one. I was fair and equitable as a police officer, and I took that same attitude in as a judge. And I look forward to getting back into that work. I also believe that I have the experience necessary to be the emergency management coordinator of the county. That's one of the main jobs that a county judge has. And my experience, military, police officer, as mayor of Cisco, and dealing with the emergencies that we've had here, I think has given me the necessary experience to do that job as well. So as a potential judge, I have the experience. As the chief executive of the county, I have the experience. As the emergency management coordinator, I have the experience necessary to the job. I also have a heart to serve our community. You know, my whole adult life has been in one area of service or another. Well, for the vast majority of it anyway. There were a few times that I worked in the private sector, but the vast majority of my time has been either military, police, in either judicial or as mayor. I've had public service for about 29 years, and it's been just an extreme blessing to me, and I want to continue that area of service. My time as pastor has been an outstanding time. That wasn't a job that I sought, but my church pastor was stepping down and asked me to fill that role for him because he needed to retire. And we didn't really have anybody else to step into that position, so I agreed to take it. So, and Robin's back there giving me the signals too. So I'll just thank you for your time. I thank you for coming out today, and I would appreciate your vote and your trust in this new position. Thank you very much.